guys, this is H-Town Kick 713 coming back with a new review of a new pickup here. This is the KD VII Elite Team version. Let's go quick tail of tape. Let's look at the box it came in this year. It's coming in an all-white box. You see here the KD logo at the top, Elite Series there on the side, and I think he's got his autograph there on the other end. And let's look at the official details of the shoe. Official retail price of the shoe is $200, which is about same price as last year's Elite Series, and $20 more than the two previous models. So official colorway of the shoe is a blue graphite, volt, bright citrus, and dove gray. So this one released April 17th, 2015 here in America, which is a Friday. Also releasing that day were the Kobe 10s in that all purple color. Not too bad there. And also the LeBron 12s also in the red colors came out yesterday as well. So we're looking at here the KD VII Elites. Before we take a look, let's look at the past Elite series that have come out. Take a comparison of them in here. This is the KD V Elite that came out a couple years ago, and this is the KD VI Elite that came out a year ago. So you know what the interesting about the Elite Series, you know, it is playoff time, NBA playoff time, a very exciting time in basketball. How different sometimes the shoes are from the regular models. We look at the KD V here, you know, it's kind of the mid-high type of version. Then they go to a low-cut model there on the Elite Series. Kind of interesting, you know, if a player that actually, Kevin actually wore these during the playoffs, how much drastically they change. You know, even looking at the KD VIs, you know, they got the whole air unit there running along the bottom, and you compare it just to the regular general release version, you know, that air unit's not running across, how different that is. You know, if I was an NBA player, I guess I would want to stick with the same shoe all year if I was wearing, but yeah, I guess some players change it up. But let's take a look at the details of the KD VII Elite that released here. We're looking at this, look at this, they're calling this a dove gray color here. Very nice. It actually, let's take a look at close up. You see it kind of has a nice metallic finish to it, as I would call it. A little shine to it. Of course, the major pieces that are missing from the regular KD VII model for this year, you know, they're missing the strap. That's kind of one piece that's missing here. They're going with that hyperpolymer material throughout the shoe. Let's take a start from the front side here. So looking from the front, you guys want to get some good details of that. You're looking at that swoosh where it's changing from that volt colorway to an orange type of color there at the top. So it's got a good kind of a gradient color change as we're looking at it. Look at the shoelaces. Looks like they kept it the same with the kind of flat laces there. And we got some, you see in here though, kind of see the mesh going through the tongue and the holes. So got some breathability going through that. Also looking at the top of the tongue, you're looking at the KD initials there in that embossed volt color. Very nice. And of course, working our way through the side here, let's take a wide shot of that. You're looking at that, you know, that five-on foam midsole there, in that kind of that lighter gray color tone there. Of course, probably the biggest feature in terms of looks and is this holes here on the rear side of the shoe. I guess some people are going to call this the Swiss cheese effect. Definitely had some, definitely had some breathability, but not as much as you might think. You know, it is padded here in the rear of the shoe, so these holes, you know, they're a block from the, totally going from the inside a little bit, so there is some breathability still there. But in the middle section there, you see the flower wire throughout, the volt there. This one is going all the way through. So definitely get some breathability going throughout there. I guess you definitely don't want to get your shoe wet and get some water inside. But let's take a look at comparisons here of this follow-on midsole. There is quite a difference here. You know, I've noticed if you take a look at the height of it, let's take a bird's eye view of that. You know, how much higher they went on this follow-on midsole than the regular general release version of the shoe. Just wanted to point that out. You got the Nike Zoom unit there in the rear with the air unit. Let's take a look at the sole here. Interesting sole here, pretty cool looking here. You know, you got that gradient change here. They got that gold color in the rear and that orange color in the front portion of the shoe. Very translucent. I mean, it's actually, I'm trying to compare these to the other translucent soles I've had. This one's actually one of the most ones that's actually very clear. So very nice change up from just the regular models. Regular models generally just had a one color tone to it. Let's look at the rear, work our way back. In the rear, coming from the rear side. And they did change it up a bit. Instead of just having a solid color in the back, because the strap is gone, they were able to put, and did put, the numbers 35 and the number 7s in the rear of the shoe there at the top. So you work our way around. You got the swoosh coming around the side, going from that volt to that orange color. And let's take a wide shot of this as we work our way around. On the shoe tip laces, they didn't do anything fancy for this Elite series, just kept it kind of plain and regular there, so nothing fancy to talk about there. But let's talk about fit and feel of the shoe. When this shoe came out, just taking a look at the KD VII, just a general release type model. For me, this is a perfect fit, true to size shoe for me. It works out real nice. Once you kind of work out the laces a little bit, loosen it up here. Some people mentioned maybe a little tight here. Initially it is, but after time, just on the general release model, the fit really works out and it comes to be one of the most comfortable shoes I have. But on this KD VII Elite series, actually let's point out here, if you look here, if I put my finger through, you see how that mesh can kind of give. So it gives my toes their room to kind of grow in the material there. But with this kind of material there in the front of the shoe, your toes this is going to be a tight fit for you guys here. You're gonna feel that kind of hard part material kind of pressing down on the top of your foot there. So just something to note, it's almost kind of obvious that it would do that. Actually, when I put the shoes on, the feel of that in the front side very reminds me of the, to kind of close my eyes and trying to get the feel of the LeBron 11 here. One thing I didn't like on the LeBron 11 in terms of how it felt. A lot of people have said this. I watched the other videos, how in the front portion, maybe a little tight as this material, presses up against the top of your feet in the front, because there's not really room for that to give. So that's the only thing about that. So this did release, like I said, with the LeBron 12 and the Kobe's. There will be two other models that'll be coming out in the next couple of months. I believe there's a all blue one. Actually, it looks pretty nice. I actually liked all the three colors I saw of the KD VII Elite, so I decided to pick this one up. There's the blue one, I believe it's called the Elevate or something of that nature. And also there's a real nice one, the red, something like the Red Rose or something like that. And kind of a bronze color there. So other than that, guys, appreciate you guys watching today. And, go and do an on feet here. And you guys have a great day. Take care.